Hi everyone, this is a short demonstration for how software can be requested within the ServiceNow platform. We are logged in as Jim Halpert, Co-Assistant Regional Manager of Sales at Dunder Mifflin Stamford branch. And the reason we're in the Stamford branch is because Jim has been asked by his boss Josh and his colleagues Andy Bernard and Karen Filippelli to kindly join them in a game of Call of Duty. So we're logged in as Jim. This is his landing page within the Employee Center at Dunder Mifflin. So we're going to go back to the main page and see what's available for us. So this is where Jim can request for products and services, look up information, policies, benefits, vacation, anything and everything he needs during his time at Dunder Mifflin. Now for software, Jim could go into the software catalog, but let's say he doesn't know where to go. He sees this little chatbot at the bottom. So this is the Now Support natural language powered by ServiceNow's generative AI Now Assist. Let's say he wants to get software. So he's just going to type in very natural language that I need Call of Duty. So again, natural language, the LLM can pick up the intent of that request and surface back catalog items. So here's one right here, and this seems to be the one that he needs. He doesn't need jury duty. So let's click on Call of Duty. Fun fact, Toby was the one that did end up going for jury duty. So Toby would be able to request for jury duty leave of absence. The Scranton Strangler episode, if you remember that one. Anyhow, so here Jim can see that this is the software that he needs. So he says, yep, let's request this item. See if there's any other questions that the chatbot asks. Well, any attachments? No. And of course, this can be configured to either flatten the process out by reducing the number of questions asked or increasing them or being more contextualized as well. Let's submit the request. So here we go. Jim can see that his request has been submitted. He can go directly into the requested item to see the status of his request over time. So here he can see that the request has been made for Jim just now. The ticket's been created. He can interact with the support personnel that's going to ultimately deliver the software to Jim. In this case, it would be the IT guy, one of, I think, 8 different IT guys that Dunder Mifflin have had over the years. So this is where Jim would be able to interact with them rather than having to pick up the phone and wonder what's going on with his request. So now we're going to switch personas and we're going to log in as the IT administrator or the IT manager or the software asset manager at Dunder Mifflin to see some details about the software model Activision Call of Duty to see what's available by way of software licenses today. Do they even need software licenses? Is this free software? Is it paid software? We'll look at all that information behind the scenes, and then we're going to actually fulfill this requested item for Jim. So this is the software asset workspace where the software asset manager, the IT manager at Dunder Mifflin will interact with anything and everything to do with their software. So we're going to start with the license operations module here. And we're going to take a look at our software model. So this is the definitive blueprint behind any software licenses that will ultimately be acquired. So we can see here that there's a software model for Activision Call of Duty. This is the model that would have been linked to the catalog item that Jim requested for. So let's go behind the scenes for that model. So here we can see that this is in production, which would make sense because it's available and published to the catalog. You can see here that the catalog item here is Call of Duty, which is what Jim requested for. You can see that it's been already classified as an adventure game. So this gets automatically classified by our content library, which has over 4 million different products across hardware and software. We can also see that it's licensable. So we know that this isn't a piece of free software. This is a licensable piece of software. And again, this comes in from our content library as well. You can see that Josh Porter, the branch manager at Dunder Mifflin Stamford, is the product owner. We can see some other information if we're interested. But what we really want to see is what software licenses or what software entitlements we own. So we have the link established already and automatically between the software model and the licenses that are associated to it. So let's go into the software entitlement record. There's just one here. We can see that it's licensed on a per user basis. So the software licensing metric gets automatically populated once you have a publisher part number or a manufacturer SKU, or if you've got the software model identified. So it's been 10 licenses that were purchased at a unit cost of $99 each. Let's see if there's some licenses that have been allocated. So we can see that 7 allocations are still available. So that means there's been 3 licenses that are already allocated. We can see them right here within the user allocation table. So you can see the licenses are assigned So there's still 7 available. So ultimately, when we go and process this request, we shouldn't have to go out and buy a new one. And we'll see how the ServiceNow platform surfaces back our available allocations and entitlements and allows us to prescriptively use those. All right, let's go back and actually fulfill this request now. So we're going to go back to the home page, and we're going to see that we have right here in the Activity Center a series of important actions, and we can see that there's 41 service catalog requests. Now, the software asset administrator or anybody you identify will get notified, and they can be notified over email, within their ticketing queue, through text message for any new software or any new requests in general within the platform. So let's look to see if we can find any requests that were processed today. So I'm just going to go click in here, choose today, and apply that filter. We want to clear some additional filters to make sure that we can see what we need to see. So here we go. So there's a request right there by Jim Halpert. It's already been approved. And again, the workflow can be configured to introduce layers of approval if you need to have those. In this case, Josh is the product owner, so he's automatically approved this for Jim as part of the setup for software catalog and software approval. So let's click into this request. So we can see some information about who it's been requested for. We can see the items that have been requested. Obviously, you can have multiple items requested as well. You can see that Jim has asked for Activision Call of Duty. We can go into that requested item. We can see some information about that request, when that request was made, any SLAs that we build into the request mechanism to see when it's due as well. Now, we can remain within this experience, so the current UI within ServiceNow. But for some of the people that may be familiar with the classic experience, you can absolutely source and fulfill this request from there. In fact, let's go and have a look at this within the classic UI. So I'm just going to copy this request here, and we're going to go into requests. We're going to find our catalog request. Here we go, service catalog requests. And we're going to go search for this request. And obviously, this is going to have several different types. We can find Jim's request right here as well. So again, flexibility in how and where you choose to process these behind the scenes. Okay, so there's a series of catalog tasks that now automatically get populated as part of the workflow that's available out of the box for software requests. So this specific task is going to go out to a procurement person. So perhaps it would go to someone like Oscar or Angela to process. Right? So they can click into this, so they'll get notified as part of being part of the procurement group. They can see the requested item for Jim was Call of Duty. They can click in the source request, and straight away we can give them and surface back automatically through intelligence on the platform what's available for them. Right, so we can see that they have those 7 available rights, and we can allocate directly from those. If we had set up procurement capabilities or integration, either having it on platform or through a third-party system, we can have this go out to a vendor for purchase as well. But in this case, we don't need to. We're just going to source directly from our available inventory. So we're going to allocate this license. We're going to choose the software, 1 license, and it's going to be allocated to Jim Halpert. And of course, this can be automated as well based off the requested by individual. So we're going to submit this now. So it says 1 license allocation has successfully been created. Perfect. So we can see that the task has been completed. Now let's have a look and see within the software asset workspace if that license has automatically been assigned to Jim. So we're going to go back in the software asset workspace. We're going to go into the license operations module. This time we're going to go directly into the entitlements table as opposed to going at it from the model. I'm just going to type in Call of Duty. There it is. And we can now see that 4th user has automatically been allocated in the user allocation table. Now, there's obviously going to be additional tasks within the workflow. Procurement was simply required to source the software, or in this case, allocate it because they had inventory. So you're making those buy versus draw from inventory decisions on the fly. But the other tasks would involve actually installing the software. And that's part of a separate demonstration where we look at our client software distribution integration with Microsoft SCCM. Or with ServiceNow's agent client collector, depending on which agent tool that you choose to use, whether native Microsoft ServiceNow tooling, to have the software automatically delivered to the end user. Hope you enjoyed the demo. Thank you.